Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, everyone. I'm Yasmin, librarian at Darul Hikmah Library, IIUM Kuantan, and I would like to give a warm welcome to you all, and thank you for attending our online session today titled Communicate Clearly, a guide to writing emails and memos with Madam Tae Jun Lee, an English lecturer from the English Language Department, CELPAD Kuantan. Before we begin our session with Madam Jun Lee, allow me to take a moment to introduce our respected speaker. Madam Tae Jun Lee is an English lecturer at CELPAD, IIUM Kuantan. She obtained her bachelor's degree in teaching English as a second language from University Malaysia Sarawak and her master's degree in civilization studies from University Malaya. She is currently pursuing her PhD in English studies at IIUM. She began her teaching career in 1999 as a lecturer at Rima College, teaching English proficiency courses of various levels. She also taught other subjects like Malaysian studies, moral studies, and English for communication. She then joined Taylor's College and taught English proficiency, English for specific purposes, and academic English. In addition, she taught subjects like Arts and Architecture of Malaysia, Arts and Architecture of Southeast Asia, and Asian civilizations. She was also a trainer for ELS Penang for a short time before leaving for KBU International College, and now she's here with us at IIUM. So before I pass the mic to Madam Jun Lee, I would like to give a gentle reminder to the audience. If you have any questions throughout the session, please feel free to write them down in the chat box. And we've also included the I-attend link in the chat, so please mark your attendance for today. Without further ado, I would like to invite Madam Jun Lee to deliver her session. Please welcome.
Thank you, Sister Yasmin. Okay. So I hope you can actually see my slides. Good morning, everyone. Okay. I'm Madam Jun. Okay, my student called me Madam Jun. All right, thank you for joining this session. Thank you for the library for extending this invitation for me. Can you see the slides? Sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear this. I can see the slides, but your voice the audio is quite soft.
Soft, okay. Is it better now?
Yes, it's better now. Yes.
All right, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I think my mic is not so good. It's not so good. All right, so what we're doing today is, this is just a very short training about writing emails and memos. So without any ado, let's start. Okay, this is the learning outcomes. So by the end of today's session, you should know how to write a formal email and how to write a memo. Okay. Now, basically, why do we need to write emails or memos? The purpose is actually for communication purposes. Now, why do we communicate? Basically, we just want to get the message across. Okay, we want to get the message across. So whenever you're writing an email or a memo or doing any kind of communication, because we can communicate via speaking as well as writing. So you have to make sure that you actually fulfill these 5 C's. The first C is actually correct. So whatever you do, especially in work or in your studies, try to correct all your mistakes in your message. Okay, grammar, spelling, or vocabulary. Secondly, okay, most of the time, we do not have the time to listen to we do not really have the time to listen to or to read pages and pages of writing. We just want the message. So you have to go straight to the important points. So be concise, meaning to say, just get your message across with the fewest words possible. That's it. Do not talk too long, okay? And of course, thirdly, third C is courteous, okay? When you are writing the message or the email or the memo, no matter how angry you are or frustrated you are, you can't be too emotional. So you have to learn to write, well, at least they sound polite and thoughtful, and try not to be gender biased when you're writing, okay? Number 4 is, the 4C is complete. So you must understand that when you're writing your message, okay, please make sure that you include important information of the 5 W's and 1 H. In this case is who, what, where, when, okay, why, and of course, how. So that will be the 5 W's and 1 H. Okay, of course you may not use all of the 5 W's and 1 H, but it helps you to remember whatever details that you need for your message. This is very important because sometimes you may accidentally overlook whatever important details that you should have included in your email or your memo. And number 5, okay, last but not last, of course, but this is also important. You have to be very clear about your information. So it's specific enough, so it's easily understood, and you do not confuse your readers. Okay, so these are the 5 C's. So anything you do in your writing or speaking is, if you have the 5 C's, then the purpose of communication is achieved, which is to get the message across. So that will be correct, concise, courteous, complete, and clear. The 5 C's. All right, so we continue to, of course, the email. Okay, the first part. Now, when you want to write your email, okay, I have divided it into 3 parts, which is, first, you have to be very clear your purpose of writing the email. Why do you want to write the email? Why? Okay, there are, of course, a lot of reasons why you want to write email. It could be you want to inform. Okay, that's the most basic. Okay, or maybe perhaps you want to persuade people to do something. Okay, so you have to be very clear with your email purpose. Okay, and then of course we'll look at the format, and I'll give you some expression that you may use for your email writing. Okay, we continue. Okay, now in general, the purpose of writing the emails, there are 2. You will have internal emails, which we have in IIUM. Well, basically to communicate with employees and other members of the organization. So if you're working in a company or in an organization, the email is the best way to communicate, of course. Okay. Now, if you have to communicate outside your organization, this is very important. You may need to communicate to customers or any kind of authorities or people essentials to the operations of the organization. This is very important because your language, the way you write, reflects your organization. So you have to be even more careful with whatever words or language you're using, okay? Which goes back to, of course, you have to be correct, courteous, complete, concise, and clear. Okay, right, this is the purpose. Okay, what is the email format? Okay, it's very basic actually. The email that we have, okay, there are a few parts that you will have to look at. Okay, number 1, the subject line. Okay, the subject line is actually, if you look at these, oops, I don't have my email here. The email is actually, if you look at your email, you will have 2. You will have CC, and then there you will have a part where you have to write your topic basically. So this has to be very specific because that will actually help the person to decide whether they want to open the email or not. Okay, whether they want to open the email and read it or not. Okay, your subject line. Okay, after that will be your salutation. Okay, dear sir / madam, Encik, Wancik, etc. The body of the email, and of course your sign off. So this is the 4 parts that you have to look at. Okay, so let's take a look. Am I talking too fast? If I'm too fast, you can tell me to slow down. Is that okay?
Okay, inshallah.
Okay, all right, okay. So what do I mean by subject line? Okay, is specific subject in your email, it has to be what or who. Okay. I would like to show you IM email. What do I mean by subject line? So I'm gonna stop sharing. Maybe I share the IUM email first. 1 minute. Okay, let me share the email first. Um, 1 minute. Oh no. Oh no. I think sorry, I think okay, I can't because my laptop is so slow. So I'll just go back to sharing this first. Sorry. Okay, I'll go back later. Yeah. Okay, let me just full screen first. Okay, what do I mean by email? Anyway, all of you probably are using email all the time, so you know that when you write emails, there is a little box before you start your entire writing, before your dear sir, madam, or whatever. Okay, you have to fill in your topic. Now, when you're filling in your topic, you must remember, please do only who, what. Okay, try to use mainly nouns only because this gives the most message across. Most of the meaning or most of the message goes through the noun. Okay, for example, if you can see from here, okay, well, it says here guidelines on repainting works and mural painting. So all this is the specific subject line. Okay, announcement on the appointment of acting chief librarian or the first international conference on river sustainability. So all this straight away tell you what's the point of the message. Okay, you don't have to write verbs at all. It's okay. You just have to give nouns. That's it. Or noun phrase. Okay, noun phrase means kata nama lah. Because they have the most message and the meaning. Okay, that's one. Okay, that is for subject line. That's the first. Okay, the second part of the email writing, the format is salutation. Okay, now I think you already have a fixed expression for salutation in IIUM where you go by this. Yang berbahagia, Dr. Prof, Dr. Sir, Madam. Okay, you can actually add sister or brother if you know their name, because I've asked the person in charge in Gombak. All right, the official communication. So it's still possible as long as you know the person personally. I think it's fine. Okay, if you are communicating with people outside your organization, please just use dear sir, madam. If you do not know their name, if you don't know their name, dear sir / madam is fine. If it's a whole community, this is fine. Okay, can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, now if you want to use Mr., Mrs., Encik, Puan, Cik, Doctor, or Professor, you have to add the name. If you don't want to add the name, just use dear sir / madam. Please do not use the name straight away. If this is formal communication, not. You can only use names straight away if this is your friend and this is an informal email. But we are doing formal email, so that is not allowed if you want to use just name. Okay, right? So that will be the second part, the salutation. If you want to be polite, please use all this as stated. Okay, so we go to the next part, which is the body. Okay, this is the main chunk of the message, okay, which is the most important part of the message. And you have to remember that in any kind of communication, especially in email and memo, okay, we're looking at these 4 parts in your body. IDRC. IDRC. You have to remember that this will also be used in the memo. Okay, what is IDRC? The first I is introduction. Introduction will be the first paragraph of your email. That gives the reason of you writing the email. Why are you writing this email? For what purpose? Okay, that's the first part. The second part is the D, which is where you have to give specific information. This is the part where you have to think about your 5 W's and 1 H. Remember I said you have to think about the who, the what, the where, the why, the when, and of course the how. You don't have to use, of course, all the 5 W's and 1 H, but you just ask all these questions and decide which one you need to use. That's very important because we don't want people to read our email, but you don't have any specific information which they need. That defeats the purpose of the message. Okay. After that, the R is the response. Response means what do you expect from this email? What do you want the recipient to do? Do you want them to join the meeting at this time? Perhaps. Okay. Do you want them to take action? What kind of action do you expect for them? Okay. It can be anything depending on your email. Could it be you want a document from them? So this is the action expected. Okay. Of course, then in the closing, you will have to thank them for whatever consideration and time they have given you, and that will be all. Okay, so IDRC is very important for the body. Okay, this is very important for any kind of communication in the workplace. This is basically what we look for in workplace communication. Because we don't have time if there is any miscommunication. That takes time as well. So we don't want to, lose time. Okay, so IDRC. That is very, very specific. So you just give intro, details, response, closing. That's it. Make sure you have this 4 and you should be okay, right? The last part that we look at is, if you can see, this is an example from our email, IIUM email, okay? So you can start off with this. This is a common phrase used by IIUM. So it's okay. You can follow your organization. You can follow your organizational stock phrase. It's fine. Okay. So if you can see here, it's sorry. How do I go back? Okay. All right. This part here, following the several requests. I don't know how to stop this. Can I take it out somewhere? The screen sharing is stopping me. I cannot read this. By KCDIOs, the development division has established the following guidelines. If you can see here, this is actually the introduction. Why are they giving you this email? Because basically they want to streamline the processes, the guidelines 1 and 2. Okay. After that, these are all the details. Can you see? So what is the purpose? Can you see this is what? Okay. Can you see this is who? Okay. All right. Who wish to carry out. All right. Okay. This is guidelines. Okay. This is made available. So we have when, we don't have when, we do not need when, who, we have what, who, when, no, where, no. Where is already here. Where do you find the guidelines? It's here. You just have to click on it. Okay. Why? I think this one is quite clear because they want to provide reference. Okay. Why? They want to streamline it, basically, make sure it's clear. Okay, so they don't have I think they don't have when. Anytime starting from whatever dates that they email you. Okay, if you can see here, all KCDIOs are kindly requested to add here. This is your response. You have to follow the guidelines. so that any paint-related works are carried out in a safe manner. So if you can see, this is IDR. And finally, of course, the C, your kind cooperation and understanding are highly appreciated. And then, of course, you can add in the thank you. And this is, of course, the sign off, but that is another part. Can you see here, IDRC? If you can follow
Yes.
this, that will be very clear when you're doing your email. That is so easy. Okay, this is another one. Okay, so if you can see, oops, sorry. This is actually your subject line. Okay, this is actually your subject line. So they put it here. It's a bit strange, but it's okay. They repeated that. Okay. So here, this part is actually your intro. They just want to tell you, it's going to be limited. Okay. All right. So here, they're giving you details. You have to register. Okay, because one request each. This is what you have to, this is details, this is response, okay? And their closing is pretty short, just thank you. But they all have that. So that is important. If you can remember that, that will really make your communication so clear. Okay. So in this case, we're going to the expression. Okay, so this part here, the third part, okay, you can use all this if you liked. I'm writing in reference to, I'm writing with regard, I'm writing to inquire about, I'm writing to apply for, I'm writing, if you are writing in reference to you personally. If this is a university, of course, it will be more in general. It will be like, kindly be informed. Or it looks like this, as you are all aware, or, okay, you can start with this, this email, okay? All right, or whatever the kuliah or something, cordially invite you to, okay, or on behalf of the, we would like to inform you, we are pleased to inform, invite, or congratulate. Sometimes that happen, or we regret to inform you that. Okay, these are some of the expression you can use. Okay, there are also a lot of stock phrases in your email that you can use. If you look at IIUM email, there are a lot. So it depends on what you would like to use, okay? How you want to start your first introduction, the I. How would you like to start your introduction? Okay, the I. This is the first. The D are the details. You can write it this way. Here are the details on. There seems to be a problem with, okay?
Madam? Um, Madam Friesen.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry? Sorry? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. You were cut off for a bit earlier, but now I can
Yeah,
hear
the
you.
internet connection is unstable. Oh, I don't know, OCD. The internet is not so okay. I should have gone to the library. Sorry. Okay.
It's okay, but we can
Alright.
hear you now.
Okay. You can hear? All right, great. Okay, so just remember your 5 W's and 1 H. Ask yourself, okay? But again, I repeat, not everything in 5W, 1 H you use it. But you have to write down before you, write your email or memo. Okay? Right? The next part will be, of course, the response. What kind of action would you like your recipient or those, the email recipient to do? Okay? So what would you like? I would appreciate your immediate attention. Okay, is there a cheating case? You need the lecturer, the class lecturer, the section lecturer, immediate attention, or you need any further information, perhaps the MS Teams, there is a change in the storage, so you have to contact the ITD. So all these are responses, okay? So you can use any of these language expressions if you want, okay? or like this, kindly submit the duly completed form to ... If you have a form and it has to be given back to the center library, you know, by certain deadline. So this is the action that you may want them to do, perhaps. Okay. So you can use some of the expression here. So this will be the R. The closing remarks will be to show that you're courteous, like your participation and support are highly appreciated. Thank you for your time, all this. Okay. Your cooperation is highly appreciated. Okay. Right. So this is IDRC. Okay. The sign off. Okay. So these are some of the sign off here. Now, if you use yours faithfully, make sure your salutation has to be dear sir/madam. It's only used if you don't have name. Okay. The rest you can use it. For sincerely and yours sincerely, make sure you already written their name, like dear Encik Arif. Okay, then you can use sincerely or yours sincerely. Okay, the same. But regards, your truly kind regards is both. Both. It's up to you. But for yours faithfully, no names. Okay, just dear sir or madam. Right? That's all. Okay. All right. Are you clear? Do you have any questions? So I have a very short practice, email practice. I'm going to share it with the group. Wait, not helping. Wait 1 minute. Wait, I'm trying to copy and paste, but I can't seem to do it. Why? Let me just stop sharing first.
Madam, can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
Okay, for email salutation earlier, you mentioned that when we address somebody as what professor, Mrs. or anything else, we only do that when we know the name, right?
Yes.
But we do not necessarily put the name there. For example, because when we send email to many people at the same time, right? So we only put the address, the title, and not the name.
For professor, I think it's okay. Because I think basically for IIUM email in general, I think it's okay, professor. But Mr., Mrs. no.
Okay.
Also no in general. Unless you really know the name. But I think for IIUM, the practice is that, if I'm not wrong, they allow that, yes, correct? I think you just put sir, madam, because basically sir, madam means you don't have to put the name.
So that one is considered general.
Yes, sir, madam. But prof, I think is allowed. I think it's allowed, yes. Because according to the organization, it actually changes according to the organization, workplace communication, because they have their own stock phrases. So you can use that actually. Because different organization has different rules, in-house rules.
Okay, so it depends on the practice of the.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think I have just shared a document. Okay. So if you can you please join this email exercise 1. This is a Google Doc.
Sorry, I think the sound is very far.
Far, is it? Sorry, are you able, can you go to the chat box? Is it possible? Sorry, I can't hear you. Yeah, okay. Is it clearer now? Is it possible to join the link that I've just shared? The Google Doc, Google. Do you see that? Is it possible to join it, or is not possible?
Yes, I'm able to join.
You're able to join? My side, I'm not able to join. Okay, if you look at your email, the email practice, this is actually you're going off for a conference, so you have to inform your boss. Okay. So 1 minute. Trying to go in myself, but tak dapat lah. Are you able to join? I can, but okay. So this is actually a group exercise. Is anyone can just, write on it, and then I'll just comment on it.
Oh, madam, you accidentally sent it to me, so I sent it to everyone now.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
You're
I sent it to Yasmin. Okay, sorry. Direct message. Oh, I didn't share with the group. Oops, sorry. Thank you, Yasmin. Sorry. Okay. Is it possible to join? I'm trying to join here. I think the internet is slow. Plus my laptop is slow. I mean, why don't you give it a try? Because it's all try and error when you're writing email and memo, basically. Oh dear. Okay. Maybe Yasmin, you can share the Google Doc with me, if you can screenshot, because it appears that I cannot go in my own Google Doc. Thank you
Oh.
so much.
Okay, I'll share the screen.
If you share screen, yeah. I just want to comment on the writing itself. That's all. A very short one. If anyone would like to try the practice, because we're trying to look at IDRC basically, and of course the subject line. If anyone would like to try. So this is a training. Oh, it's training, not conference, sorry. Safety in the workplace, you have to send an email to your boss, no, the two is actually the email. Okay. So you have to know your boss email. Okay. Whoever is there, you can write anyone's email, even my email if you want, anyone. Or your own email will be fine. The subject is the subject line. You want to go for a training. Okay. And your boss needs to know you'll be away from the office. So how are you going to write that? The to and the CC are just email address. Okay. Anyone? So that I can comment on it. Otherwise, I can't do much because just try and error. Don't have to worry about making errors because we all make errors. I myself make errors all the time. So if that makes you feel better. What happened? Oh no, what happened? Why is it lost? Okay. Somebody deleted it. Please don't do that. Thank you. Okay. For two, anyone would like to write an email, any email, your own email is also okay. The CC if you don't have is fine because you may have only one boss. Sometimes, you need to talk to give to your dean and maybe deputy dean. For us, we have to maybe CC to our director, perhaps also to our head of department. So usually we do have CC. Anyone would like to try if you're able to join?
I think too many people are trying to make changes, so there might
I
so the
see.
document might be confused.
Oh, I see. Okay. So how many maybe can we just volunteer a few people? Those who are here. Okay. Maybe you can just tell us. Okay. Can I choose? Is it possible to choose? Or maybe they're not around. I think we don't have that much time. Or maybe you can do that later. Is that all right? Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be all right.
Okay, so we do that or later. Okay, so I will share my document again. I want to share my screen again. So I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay. Maybe there are too many. I'm sorry. I did not expect a lot of people because this is semester break. I expect maybe a class, maybe 30, 40. So okay, you can try that, and then later I will comment on whatever. Okay, but okay, so these are the expressions. Okay, practice. Okay, after you have written your email, try to look at your spelling and your verbs, of course. Okay, so if you look at here, these are some of the spelling errors I've seen in emails. Some. Okay. So you will have to look at your own email, for example, publicly. Okay. We just need this. Okay. Right. Definitely. Okay. Government, very common. Most people forget their N. Okay. So if you can remember, you must always check your spelling errors. Okay. For example, this one here, because it gives a really bad impression, especially if it's outside your organization. But if it's inside your organization also, it's not very good impression, whatever email you're writing from. So it's either you check the dictionary or I use Grammarly. Okay, these are some of the common spelling errors that you might want to look at. Okay, after you finish writing. Okay, all right, and of course, in English, because most of the email written in IIUM, probably outside too, you write in English, and because of that, you have to look at the 12 verb tenses in English. Okay, so we have, of course, past, present, and future. Okay, and you have to know when you are writing, usually when you write reason, you only use the intro part. Oops, can you see? The introduction part, which is where you write your reason for writing, that is usually in English, in present tense, sorry. So it's either simple, okay, can be continuous depending on the situation. I would suggest simple first, okay. Perfect if it's already done or I've been studying, okay. Now, most of the time, your email should be in present and future, unless you are referring to the past, maybe a complaint, then yes, there is a complaint about your department, your kuliah, your center, perhaps, I don't know. Okay, so you have to know the tenses to use. At least you have to be very sure. When I'm writing this, the reason I'm writing this, am I touching about now and future, or am I touching about past, the details? Okay. And the action, of course, that will be in the future because they haven't taken any action yet. So that is future tense. That's quite clear. Okay. But for the details and the introduction, ID is generally in present tense unless the situation makes it such that it's in the past, like maybe a complaint in the past, then the details will be in the past. Okay. So you have to remember which situation, because sometimes you can see as well. Okay, the errors there. Okay, so these are some of the passages. You can look at the slides. We don't have time to go through grammatical lessons. Okay, but just to remind you that in English we have 12 verb tenses, and you should be careful about using them. Okay. Do you want a break of 1 minute? Or I just go ahead, because I think we don't have that much time. Do you need a break?
No, no need.
No, I think no, right? Okay, I'll just go right ahead. Okay, so we continue to writing memo. It's the same classification are divided into purpose of writing the memo, the format, and also the expression, of course. Okay. Now, a memo is generally to communicate to people inside a company or organization inside. Is never to communicate with companies or organization outside, inside only. Okay, and sometimes also is used to convey decision or meeting agendas, any kind of new policies, internal reports, or short proposals. Okay, that is the purpose of writing a memo. But you have to remember is within an organization. Okay. Now the format of the memo, it's like this. Okay. In the past, before we have email, a memo is printed out. Okay, and it looks a little bit like this. Okay. Now some memos are still printed out and put on the announcement boards. Okay, some memos are emailed. Okay, are emailed straight to you. So there will be a slight difference. Okay, those who are printed out will look something like this. Okay. In the memo, the format, originally for workplace format, you have to write to. Now, sometimes it's very simple. All you have to do is write to all staff. That's it. And of course, who you are and your position. Okay. You have to give the month, the date. Okay, let's say today is August 5th and 2024. Okay. Again, the subject of the memo, mainly nouns. What do you want to inform? That you have to print out. Perhaps you need to pay for the welfare. Okay, welfare contribution. No, perhaps there's one. Contribution. Okay, I'm not sure. Do you have a monthly welfare contribution? For CELPAD, we'll have yearly. Yes, yearly. Okay. Perhaps you have monthly. I don't know. Okay. Now, a memo requires no salutation. This is not like, dear sir, madam. No, because it's already mentioned it here too. To who? To all staff. So if you look at here, okay, you see that there is no dear students. You just have your salam here. That's fine. Okay. To all IIUM students. That's it. Okay. Right. And then the body. Okay. Now the body of the memo is also the same as the email, where you also have ID, RC, same. IDRC. Okay, so you will have a direct and brief introduction. That means, why are you writing this memo? There must be a reason why you write the memo. Okay, can you see here? All students are required to pay. So they are going after the students because they haven't paid their hostel fee. The past. Okay. Right? So you have to provide concise and detailed information to the reader. That is the detail. The details of, so they haven't paid. So what do they have to do? They have to do all this. So the details, they have to check their financial statements and all that stuff. Okay. And, oops, sorry. And of course, you have to start with the action first. Okay, the response and closing. Okay. So what do they want the students to do? Basically, they want them to pay, and of course, don't forget to submit to the Students and Scholarship Unit Finance Department. This is the closing. Actually, this is not necessary. Not necessary. There is no need to have yours sincerely, yours faithfully, because you already have from. In workplace memo, you don't need to actually end with your where you from and all that, because it's already mentioned from. You can see here, it's already mentioned. So you don't really need dear and closing. It's even easier, much shorter than email. Okay, but of course, if the memo is emailed, I guess it's a combination of memo and email, but if you print it out, you don't need this, okay? You don't need this because there are situations where you do need to print out the memo and actually put it on the memo, the announcement board. So this is another one, okay? Again, intro, details, okay, response, and closing. Okay, this is much longer. This is about further expenditure guidelines. I guess they're spending too much already. Okay, so this is printed out. Okay, in some situations, you may print out the memo. In some, okay, then you have to decide. Okay, right. Okay, again, in the memo, you have to start with the direct and brief. It's even shorter than an email, actually, because the memo must be only in one page. One page. As concise as possible. Forgot to mention that. It's only one page. A4 page, yeah. One page. Workplace memo, only one page. One page. Okay, if you have extra info, that will be considered your attachment or appendix. Then you have to mention that in your memo, but it has to be only one page, including to, from, subject, and date. Okay, in this case, the date is below the subject. But usually the subject has to be the last, usually, like this one. Okay, it should be the last because that's the most important. Okay, so here, I'm writing to inform you, or you can go straight to the point. In regards to the above, that's subject line, all staff members are required to wear staff cards during working hours. You know, it's very straightforward. Okay, right? That's the memo. These are some of the expression you might want to use. Okay. Now you have to provide still details. This is the D. Sorry, I already mentioned to you when you're writing email or memo, the IDRC is important. D, the details are as follows straight away. I'm delighted to announce that this is the list given, da 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 da. Again, when I said when it's details, you have to go back to your 5Ws, 1H. You have to ask yourself, yeah, who, what, where, when, why, and how. Which one is needed for your memo or in your email, You really have to write down. Then you will not miss whatever important details in your message because the point is you want to get the message across. Okay. Again, here is of course your response plus your closing can go together because memo is short. Okay. If you have any questions, please welcome to stop by my office because this is internal communication. You probably share the same office, okay? And then, yeah, closing, your hard work is appreciated. Okay, response, make sure the instructions are followed. Do follow the SOPs before coming to work, okay? And of course, you can always say, just end with a thank you for your closing. Okay, this is another practice. Okay, about memo. I think this is relevant, actually very much relevant. But thing is, let me just send to, I'm going to send to, sorry, copy. I'll send it to, I want to send it to the group, but I don't know. How do I send to the group? Wait.
Madam, I can also share it. I can try and share it.
Yeah, can you try to
Okay.
share it? Thank you.
Yes. All right.
Oops, where am I? Okay, sorry. Yes. Can you share the memo? Apparently, I can't open my Google Doc. I have no idea why.
I think the one I sent is broken. I'll try and send a new one.
Okay. Maybe I try to open from here. Okay. No. I'll stop sharing and then you can share the memo practiced. Okay.
Does the link work for everyone?
Does it work? Or should I send a new link? I mean, should I send my old link? It's working perfectly fine the other day. Okay. What happened? Yes, working. Okay. Sorry, Yasmin. Can you please share the memo practice so I can see?
Yes, sure.
Thank you. If you have read the memo, you know this is about the use of the pantry. Or did I write there lunchroom? In the pantry. Okay. Now you know we all share one pantry. So this is a memo that I think that will be printed out and actually put on the door of the pantry if I'm not wrong. Okay. There will be an infestation of cockroaches. Okay. Although it has been fumigated, but you still require staff cooperation because you don't want the cockroaches or whatever insects to come back. So so the person in charge will have to inform the staff in that office. So if anyone would like to write that, because I think this is relevant to all of us. Okay, I'm sure all centers have pantry. If you like to write, I think the format of the memo is at the bottom of the page. If you can go scroll down, sorry. Yes. Anyone would like to try this? Oh, I forgot the date. Oh dear. Can somebody add the date? Wait, I can't seem to go to my own memo to actually make changes. Thank you. Oh, it should be before the subject line, actually, the date, if possible. Okay, does anyone want to write this memo about the pantry, the use of pantry? Because some pantry users, some staff, probably they don't really clean up. So, so you want to inform them that, we need to cooperate. We do not want all this cockroaches infestation to come back. Anyone? No? Nobody would like to try this? Okay. In this case, it's quite easy. To all staff, it could be whichever center, kuliah, office, I don't know. Okay. Okay. You can write that. All Darul Hikmah's librarian staff. Yes. From. Yes. Yeah. The date, you can put it today, I guess. Okay. What would you like to write for the subject? The librarians have a pantry, right? The ground floor, right? Sister Yasmin, right?
Yeah, that one's open to students as well.
Oh, students as well. Oh, that's the one outside. Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, okay. You want staff cooperation. Mm. Okay. You can use the instructions to actually write your reason. You can copy and paste actually. Yes. The reason of writing this, you just want to write. Okay, that'll be enough for introduction. After that, the details, you can talk about, the cockroaches, when that happened, and when you did the fumigation and all that stuff. That would be details. Okay, that'll be enough for the details, I think. Okay, you might want to have the action then. What kind of behavior do you want them to do? Like wash up, Do not leave your plates unwashed until the next day, all this. What are the actions, behavior?
My brain seems to have stopped working.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh,
It's all right. Okay, we can leave it there. Okay, you can actually add some details. Okay, so here maybe you can just put there after reinfestation. There are, you can just add details. There are plates. There were actually, maybe you want to say, or there have been. All right, there were plates left unwashed and washed and rubbished, or wrappers, or rubbish, or wrappers left on the table, on the table. Okay, these full stop, and then these behaviors, these actions, or these actions, these behaviors. That's UK. Okay, these actions, okay, are not tolerated. Okay, are not tolerated, are not tolerated in the pantry, or should not be tolerated in the pantry. Okay, then you just give an action. Kindly clean up after yourself again. After yourself, and make sure these actions are not repeated. Actions are not repeated. Okay, and then I think you can just end with a thank you, and that's it. Yes, so then you can delete that. That's it, because memo should be short and to the point. That's all. Okay, short and to the point. Of course, you can write more for the details, but it's up to you. I think you can delete the instructions. Okay. All right, that's it. Because I think this will be printed. Honestly, if this happens to your country, I think the admin will be very good. I'm sure they will come up with a memo and put it on the door of the pantry. Okay. And it seems to me we have reached the end, but I still have a few slides to share. Can I just share? Wait 1 minute. Thank you, Yasmin, so much for sharing the memo.
No
Okay.
problem, madam.
Okay, sorry, my laptop is not very good. It's not behaving itself. Okay, I'm trying to share now. Am I sharing? Yes, I think so. Okay, so this is a practice. If anyone has written the email, I would like to look at that. So to make things simple, because none of us are English teachers or lecturers, unless we are. If we are, we can always check out. If you can get hold of any English teacher or lecturer, they can check for you. But usually we don't have the luxury, so you can use an app to check your own writing. You can use Grammarly or Hemingway Editor. Okay, this will really help in the long run because we do use it. So why not use it? Okay, so that's all for our session today. Do you have any questions about the slides? Anyone? I'm going back to any slides that you need to have further explanation, elaboration. No? In that case, I will just wrap up by talking about our learning outcomes today. This is about writing a formal email and writing a memo. And like I mentioned before, when you are writing, doing any kind of communication, there are 5 C's. Make sure it's correct, concise, courteous, complete, and clear. You notice how short that memo is. That's all. We need it to be concise, straight to the point, clear. All the information is there. Okay. And just remember, we want to use, especially in your format, the body of the email. Okay, we are looking for IDRC, which is, of course, your introduction, details, response, and closing. Okay, it's the same for your memo. Okay, but if you're writing a memo and emailing it, of course, you still have to give your salutation. All right, you still have to have your sign off. That's the only difference I see. If the memo is for internal and you're emailing it instead of printing it. Okay. For the memo, if you are writing it and printing it out, that will look something like this. You do not need dear and sign off, of course. That's it. Okay. But again, only 1 page. And still we are using IDRC. The main point is don't forget your IDRC. Okay. I, D, R, and of course C. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you. Is there any questions before we end
Madam?
the session? Yes.
Sorry. May I know the attachment that you can share with us?
Yes, I've shared with the library, and the library can
All
share
right.
the slides with you. No problem.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Sorry, is there any other questions? It's very basic.
No.
1 hour. It's very, very basic. But you have to write it, of course.
Yes.
My tip is you can always use Google to help you to check your grammar language. You use the technology to help. There's so many out there, right? That would be so useful. I think there's no more questions. Maybe we can end the session. Yes,
All right.
Sister Yasmin?
All right. If there are no more questions, I would like to thank Madam June for the very beneficial session, I think, especially for me, because writing emails and memos sometimes it's nerve-wracking, especially when it goes out, right? But if we have a guide that you've helpfully shared with us today, inshallah, we'll be more confident in our writing. So thank you so much for sharing, Madam. Now, a reminder for those who still haven't signed their attendance or fill in the evaluation form. you may do so by clicking the links provided in the chat. So we've now reached the end of the session. And on behalf of Darul Hikmah Library, I would like to express our sincerest gratitude to Madam June for her time and expertise. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sure we've all benefited from the session today. And thank you to all audience members for your participation today. We hope you have a lovely day and week ahead. Thank you. Okay, with that, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.